Sweet. So I'm Kottler. I work at Red Hat. The stuff I'm talking about today doesn't represent Red Hat, blah, 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 all that crap. But I'm going to be talking about contributing to operating systems because I've found the systems people don't really realize this is something that they can do. And this is where you can yell at me if I'm wrong or something, which I probably am. I'm on Twitter, that's my email, and GitHub for code stuff. So I contribute to Fedora primarily, which is an upstream of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. But this I see on Twitter all the time, which is, you know, I'm pretty sure no fucking, it usually says fuck like 4 times. I'm pretty sure no OS developers have ever used the shit they build. You're an OS developer. You guys have the skills to contribute to operating systems. Most of them are not as complex as you think. BSD might be out on So I tweeted, why don't you guys contribute, since most of my followers are systems people, why don't you contribute to operating systems? And people said this. That's like asking car drivers why they've not tinkered with the engine. And then this guy goes, I don't think I can get C past the Linus filter. Maybe. But operating systems are made up of a bunch of parts. So the first is the kernel, which is probably the thing you think of with an operating system, right? So the Linux kernel, for example, does a lot of things. Hopefully this slide will advance soon. And it basically lets the hardware talk to the software, talk back to the hardware, does scheduling, and it also provides a whole bunch of primitives to do stuff like get information off of network interfaces, talk to different pieces of hardware through drivers. So drivers are probably the way every Linux kernel contributor has ever gotten into contributing to Linux. And they're basically the interfaces between different things. So like your network card didn't work, so now you have to fix the driver. So Linux is written in C, Perl, and Bash, which is an interesting combination. A lot of the Perl stuff is just like rough around the edges that kernel developers use to kind of work on this stuff. And C is the primary language of most of the hard stuff. So don't start with kernel development. This is not a great place to start, and Linux is kind of a douchebag. Sorry, Linus is kind of a douchebag. Anyways, that was directed at NVIDIA, but it could be directed at you. Who knows? Computers are hard, so don't start with the hardest part. If you don't know how like pointer logic works, then you probably shouldn't be running the kernel because you'll get told to fuck off. So start small. Stuff like operating system packages are a really awesome place to contribute to different OSs. So for example, you can get a really simple package into Debian, and it won't take very much work to maintain. So RPM and Deb, they're fairly simple formats. And they're really easy to actually build your own packages. And I imagine a lot of you have probably done this. And there's also the kind of obvious example of like just test shit that's coming down the pipe. So Debian has Debian unstable. Fedora is like unstable. It's a very recent kernel and stuff like that. Run AWS instances. Test this shit in your labs because it will bite you later if you don't, and your systems aren't going to be prepared. And speak up, like yell when stuff breaks, and follow OS development. So when sysadmins say like systemd is the worst, well, systemd's been around for 4 years. Why haven't you said anything up until now? Because it hasn't been in the system. Cool, thank you.